things just start by telling you how I got started,
Great.
which was I used to have a design build firm in Austin, Texas for many years. And it was incredibly stressful. The projects got bigger and bigger. And after about 15 years, I was ready to do something totally different. So I came here to for a girl. She was opening a yoga studio in Kailua and asked if I could build some benches, table, sign-in table, that kind of stuff. So I didn't, yeah, I was kind of taking a break. So I figured, why not? And I heard about these two older guys who had a sawmill up on the North Shore. So I started coming up and buying white wood from these guys. And over the course of a few conversations, they offered to sell me this mountain of logs that they'd collected and the sawmill over there. And it was like 30 grand. So it's not, I could take a risk. It wasn't so much that it was like I was going to be in debt, but it was still a small risk. And so I got the shipping container to lock up tools,
Mm-hmm.
and then built this barn and just started going for it. I had no idea if it would work, but it turns out
So they sold you the stuff.
the sawmill. Yeah.
Oh, but which included the land.
No, I'm just renting
Okay.
here. So,
Yeah.
but I got grandfathered onto
They
this
sold
site.
you everything on site, and then you ended up leasing.
Yeah,
the
I kind of
space.
just took over their
Understood.
lease,
Okay.
which was a huge benefit because it's a great spot.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's like, even though the road's right there, it's private, and yeah, anyone headed down to Wailua. So yeah, location's great. And at first, for the first several years, I was just making furniture. And it wasn't until around COVID time that I started to get a little bit nervous, like what's going to happen with projects going forward. And there's just a whole bunch of guys on Schofield Barracks Army who were furloughed, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And these are a lot of Midwestern guys who don't surf and they needed something to do.
Yeah.
So I had a couple of them ask if they could buy chunks of wood. And I thought, okay, I think that could work. So I started doing wood sales. And part of it too was having done this for several years, I'd built up enough relationships with arborists and tree trimmers and contractors that I had a pretty steady supply of logs. So I wasn't so worried that I was like going to run out of wood. And so now it's, yeah, 50% wood sales and then 50% making furniture.
So is the sawmill and Lyric Woodworking one of the same?
Well, so it started as Lyric Woodwork, and so that was the furniture, the fine furniture part. And then Snake Road Sawmill was when I started doing lumber sales. And then part of my evolution generally, I think, is that when I began, I was a bit more pretentious than I am now. I was like, fine custom furniture,
Right.
which it is, but kind of my marketing, my cards, I wanted everything to be a bit too slick in a way.
Mm-hmm.
In a way that I don't think wasn't really great for the North Shore, because what it needed to be is something a bit more approachable. Because for most people to imagine, I'm going to get like a custom dining room table made, like what even is that? Are we talking 2,000? Are we talking 20,000? Like,
Right.
who knows? So, but a sawmill is very approachable.
Yep.
And it's also something, yeah, a sawmill is something where people can kind of just roll in, check it out. There's no commitment. There's no expectation.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it's something. I think there's like this worldwide community of wood people. I mean, that's how I am everywhere I go. If I go to Mexico, if I go to Greece, anywhere I go, if I see a wood shop or the word sawmill in any language, I'm going. Like,
Right.
I was down in Tulum, and yeah, I heard chainsaws and chisels, and was like, I had to go check this out. And they had this like massive wood shop with all these amazing woods. And the guys who worked there, we were like buddies within 20 minutes.
I'm sure.
Because we're just like, we've been through the same stuff. We love trees, so there's like kind of this brotherhood of wood people.
So do people drive by and walk in here all the time?
Yeah.
I've never actually been inside, even though I was telling
Uh huh.
your employee that I drive by every
Uh
single
huh. Uh
day
huh.
on my way to
Yeah.
CrossFit.
Wood people. If you're a furniture maker or a craftsperson, you see the word sawmill, you got to stop.
Right.
um.
Yeah, because I didn't even know it was publicly facing.
Uh
I
huh.
just thought it was like, uh, I don't know, like a behind the scenes
Yeah.
warehouse kind of vibe.
Yeah. And I mean, frankly, it's just evolved from that. From okay, I've got all these logs. Now what I'm going to do?
Right.
um, because there's not really anything like this. There's a couple other sawmills, and they sort of make furniture, but I've really tried to make it a bit more like public facing, where there's racks and
Yeah, you can see. Maybe we can keep walking
yeah,
and
yeah, the place is a bit more presentable than some of the other mills. Like the guys who had it before, it was just stacks of wood, like you
right.
see out there, just stickered stacks. And what we do is we sand each piece so you can actually see what it's going to look like. Because when it comes off the mill, it's pretty rough.
Hmm.
So a little bit of sanding. We might
So
put a
people
coat of
can walk
wax
in
on it.
here and choose, pick something off the rack,
Exactly.
like a surf,
So
almost like a surf shop.
often the way it works is like someone wants, say, a coffee table,
Yeah.
and once I know kind of the color, the shape, kind of the vibe of the piece they're looking for, I can be like, okay, this would be a good fit, or how about this one? So then they get to pick the piece of wood,
Hmm.
and then we'll make a few lines, a few marks, and we're thinking about like if it's say a coffee table, what's the configuration of their living room? Like is it an L-shaped sofa, and so we can shape it to fit the space.
Right.
And people really love that part of taking the piece of wood and guiding the process. There's something about it that's so much cooler than just like buying something that's pre-made.
Yeah, totally.
And I really feel blessed to do what I do. And Hawaii, I hadn't realized this when I started, it was a bit of a gamble, but there's a few reasons why this really works here in a way it would not work anywhere else.
Hmm.
Like back in Austin, I'd actually gotten some pecan and mesquite logs, milled them up, and within a couple months, they just checked, warped. Um, so it's the quality of the woods here that's really special. And I can show you one of the reasons why is that, like, when you look at this big monkey pod log, this is a cross section. So on the mainland, if you look at a tree, you can count how old it is because of the growth rings.
Hmm.
Here, it's always summer, so we don't have those growth rings. What that means is the log is a uniform density. So imagine if with this setup, if you cut that into a plank,
Is it because they're just not like expanding and contracting as much?
well, because
Or that?
it's a line of dense and then soft, dense and then soft, and so then when you cut it and mill it into a plank, there's ways for it to move. That soft area it can like twist and move into. But with that uniform density, there's nowhere for it to move to, so it's very stable.
Right.
Um, so the
Interesting.
quality of the woods is very special, and also there's not really any furniture stores, and you've got a couple in
No, it's
town,
like impossible to buy
but
furniture in Hawaii.
yeah, there's very little. I mean, everybody just goes to Facebook Marketplace
Yeah.
for everything because there's no crate and barrel, there's no restoration hardware, there's none of these. And if people do order things, it can take months to get here. And so, yeah, the lack of furniture stores, and then imagine someone's coming here from the East Coast.
Hmm.
They're going to ship their furniture from the East, like from New York to here. That's going to be very expensive, and things are going to get damaged. And then the third reason is military. I'm a veteran myself, so love working with military. And when they arrive, often they're going to need furniture, and then when they're leaving, the Army pays to ship. So if some guy is retiring back to El Paso, why not take a massive monkey pod slab with him that the army is shipping?
That's
So
pretty cool.
yeah, so yeah, there's several reasons.
We recently bought our first, I guess, a custom piece from the sugar mill.
Oh, from Danmore.
Yeah. Um, and yeah, it's sitting on our back lanai, and I don't know, it feels special. It's like you pick it out, and it just, I don't know, it has a different feel than something you buy at value.
Right. Well, and
I was actually, I mean, I don't want to speak to your pricing because I don't know your pricing, but I was surprised at how reasonable it was. Kind of what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's the land of abundance. I mean, we're blessed with, yeah, so we can keep it fairly reasonable. But yeah, and one other thing that I've really grown to appreciate is how central wood is to Hawaiian culture. Because imagine traditionally, 300 years ago, there wouldn't have been steel or glass or ceramics. So everything was wood. Transportation is canoes, your weapons, it's going to be a club. And then all the crafts, either kapa paper is from trees or koi boards. So many of the things, the traditional Hawaiian crafts are.
Yeah, I interviewed the ceramic studio at the North Shore Art Center, and they were talking about how, because I was surprised that they didn't have more ceramics in ancient Hawaiian culture. Because you would think, I thought, the ground here is made of
the red
clay. And they said, no, that clay is actually not good for making ceramics. That's why all their bowls are made out of wood. So that was interesting to me.
There's this local artist, Solomon Enos. He did this print of the traditional Hawaiian woodworker.
Cool.
So yeah, dude is ripped with the koa tree in the background. But anytime I feel sorry for myself or feel like it's so hard, I just look at that guy who basically imagine his job to make a canoe.
Right.
So you head out and with basically a sharp rock stick, and now you got to make a canoe. So I have it so easy.
Like the monkey paw that you're showing me?
Yeah.
That's the newest import.
Yeah, so with all these storms, there's a lot of trees that have fallen. This is by far the biggest one we've ever gotten. This was over at Waimalu Elementary, and you can see what happened when you go to the site because there was power lines, so they kept cutting one side of the tree, so it's kind of lopsided. And then with all that rain, the ground just gets inundated, and then a bit of wind, and it's over. So this, I'm not gonna lie, this was scary.
I mean, it's what, 6 feet in diameter?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, this thing is like, and it's beautiful, dark.
So how did that happen?
Pod.
They called you up and said, "Hey, this thing just fell. Do you want to intake it?"
Well, I just know enough people that I started getting phone calls like, "Have you seen that tree that came down in Waimalu Elementary School?" And one of the things, this podcast is for entrepreneurs. One thing I've really learned that I hadn't understood before is the value of consistency, of like doing the same thing in the same place for a long period of time, because all those connections, it's just there's momentum to it. So the first year, so actually the way I started was going to the farmers markets because it'd be $40 to have a tent, and I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty discouraged the first few times because nobody's buying a coffee table,
right?
In a farmer's market. But I handed out a lot of business cards, and then after doing that for about a year, there was enough word of mouth. But now it's like, yeah, I just find that it cumulatively builds.
And when did you start doing this?
10 years ago.
Okay, 10 years.
Yeah. And so with all the relationships, either with other craftspeople or furniture makers, with the arborists or contractors, just that consistency. Of course, you got to have a good reputation, which I believe it's fair to say I do.
Yeah, that comes over time too.
Yeah. And so, yeah, as an entrepreneur, just to realize that time is an asset, like time and place is a huge asset.
Yeah, sticking with it.
Yeah, I really did some.
You're becoming the guy.
It seems obvious, but I just didn't really. I didn't real. Yeah, I didn't understand that.
It's like a compounding.
Exactly,
yeah.
because it's more than just it's compounding. So there's a curve.
Quick question on monkey pod.
Yeah.
Where is this tree? It's not from Hawaii?
No, so monkey pods.
It looks like it belongs in Africa.
It's from Mexico.
Oh, interesting.
So the oldest monkey pods on the island are going to only be about 150 years old. Because originally there were some seeds that were like a gift from the Mexican ambassador. But yeah, it's amazing to look at this one because this probably had to be from about that period of time. Definitely, the only ones that I've seen that are bigger are the ones at Waimea Valley at the visitor center are like incredibly huge.
Yeah.
Or that back road behind the McDonald's.
That's the one that fell on the BMW.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Those monkey pods are massive too.
Yeah, they're huge.
Yeah. So yeah, it's fascinating to think that like Hawaiian monarchy was probably in place when this one was first planted.
That's cool. Yeah. So are they considered invasive or no?
No. And they're a great landscaping tree. So they really, there's so many of them on this island. So they're not invasive like holly koa or some of the ones that like
Bizia
choke out everything else.
Right. Cool. Yeah, I mean they look amazing. What percentage of your furniture is monkey pod versus others?
Yeah, I would say about 80% is monkey pod. Everybody loves that kind of chocolate walnut color.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And I think one of the things that's kind of unique about us too is that because we love wood, we'll kind of take almost not everything that grows on the island, but almost. Like for every wood, there's generally a good purpose. Now, this one, so almost anytime you look around, you can see this tree with red flowers. See that? Yeah, you can see a couple, 3 in the distance, those red flowers. And that is African tulip. And that one's considered very invasive and kind of like a weed. But I think it's got some really pretty wood.
Oh, cool.
I think it's got a
really... They have those in Mexico too?
Probably.
I feel like I've seen those before. Yeah, those are really pretty.
Yeah. It's got good qualities. It's stable, good density. We've been here about 10 years, and there's still some woods that we come across that are mystery woods. If we don't get the if we just get the logs without the seed pods or the leaves, it can be a little bit of a mystery.
Right.
So just to show you a few other of the woods we have here. So this one's really special. This one is Kamani, and this is the real endemic Hawaiian Kamani only grows here. And the story I've heard with this one is that it was one of the royal woods that was yet the Hawaiian royalty to have stuff made out of it. I believe that's true. I've heard it from a few sources.
So you make a lot of furniture and tables, I guess. What else? What are your other like top things that you're making here?
Yeah, I would say
in terms of products.
I think one of the things we're actually really well suited to do is like built-in pieces. So floating shelves are hugely popular. And the great thing about having the mill is that as we're milling each log, we can be thinking like, what is the perfect purpose for this? So if we have a log that's maybe 16 inches diameter, that's going to be perfect for like shelf size. So it will mill something like that into pieces for a shelf. And for a floating shelf, you want it to be fairly thick. It can't be too thin because you're going to have that concealed bolt that holds it up. So floating shelves are a big one, as well as islands or countertops. We've done a bunch of vanities. And one of the great things is, yeah, because especially with the monkey pod, it gets so big that people can often make an island out of just one big slab. These are beauties right here.
What are these?
These are monkey pod.
Okay.
So these are going to be great for an island or dining table. But yeah, I'll show you a few of the other projects we got going on.
Sweet.
This was kind of a first for us. This is going to Victoria Place, one of the new condo towers over at Ward. And the idea, yeah, carve a bench out of one single log. So we haven't done that before, but a lot of chainsaw work, a lot of grinder work, a lot of sanding, but I think it's pretty cool, and I think it's going to stand up well to time. So we got this bench. Now this is
what percentage of your clients are, I guess, retail versus like commercial clients like that?
Yeah, I would say 80% is residential and maybe 20% commercial.
Okay.
So this is a great wood, and it's one you rarely see used, but lychee is really a beautiful wood. Of all the woods, it has the
best. Like a lychee tree.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't even know the trees got big enough to have slabs this big.
Well, for some reason, something about the soil or the conditions in Wahua, they get huge. There's just something special about Wahua that makes lychee grow. And this is an incredibly dense wood. I mean, this stuff is like stone. You cannot, you cannot dent it. You cannot ding it. And it has the best live edge of all of the woods. The bark just pops off, and you get a really nice, crisp edge. So this is going to be a counter at an entryway. This is that kamani I was talking about. This is a slab of that Hawaiian kamani wood.
Cool.
Yeah, this one's special.
Well, maybe we, unless there's anything else to see, maybe we can just sit down and talk a little bit more about the origin story.
Yeah.
This is a bit of an unconventional flow, but I think we're taking advantage of the space.
Cool. I'll just show you one other thing. So works in progress.
Okay.
So of all the kind of like different furniture types, chairs are the most interesting challenge. Like with something like a coffee table, it's really our job just to bring out the beauty of the wood. We're not, there's not a ton of like design decisions. It's a flat surface. But a chair can have so many different qualities. It can be casual.